All right, so what we're looking at is our approach to the dashboard, and there's four basic steps here. So our first step is to be able to collect the data.
Okay.
But we're talking about a lot of information, and so what you want to be able to do is track that information. Then systematic data validation. So this is the machine learning of the process. This is where you're actually looking at the data itself. The next step is then transforming that data, which is this part right here, and we mentioned earlier that you want that cost to serve model, the calculation, and the net land profit to be tailored to your particular organization. So this is where we're doing that. We're actually using that data that has gone through the first two steps, and we're creating that cost to serve and net landed profit. But before we're actually going to release this information to the organization, because we absolutely want to be sure it's trusted and actionable, then we would recommend that you create one more step, and that is SME validation. What that does is it's basically giving the people who know the operation really well, be able to be sure that they're willing to put their stamp of approval on that information. So data collection, let's start with that. What we're going to be able to see is we're going to look at the specific information that has been received for the refresh, right? But
Mhm.
we're looking at customer master information, we're looking at the sales information, we're looking at inventory, all the things that in this particular view of a cost to serve have actually been established as what's important for this particular model. We also can see that, who the actual owner of the data is. And so what you want to be able to do is get back to those, sources of data and say, hey, we have the schedule. The executives are looking for this update. We have, a problem. But more importantly, you want to be able to identify what the problem is. It's not just we have a problem, but this is the specific reason we're calling that out. So it's not just the actual timing of the receipt of the data, but as I mentioned before, you want to actually start checking that data and getting back to them with what those issues might be. So now we want to display back to the subject matter experts the information that's associated with their particular area. So as you can see on this screen, we have shipments, we have facilities, you have the
Mhm.
spend by type, you have sales information, inventory information. Now, there's a really important criteria here that we haven't talked about, and let's just point that out for everyone and look at sales for a minute. So now people who understand what we sold have this view in front of them. But the point I was going to bring up is that if you look down a little bit here, sometimes, if you're processing 4 billion transactions, and you do have some problem areas, sometimes it's just not worth the time to hold up the entire refresh, be able to catch, a few problems here and there. So our approach to that is we set tolerances associated with what's acceptable for all data, for each data field. Those rules for whether you pass or fail should be established for your organization. We will set those tolerances up so that, in fact, we're not wasting time on a few little problems, but we're really getting the big picture back to the executives and to the organization.